You need to try the one-arm dumbbell floor press. This is a unique exercise that's great for bodybuilding and strength training. And right now, I'll be covering all the benefits while showing you some awesome variations. So first of all, you only need one dumbbell. Whether it's an Olympic like this, which allows you to put those 2-inch diameter plates, or your standard adjustables, or even the ones in your local gym, doesn't matter. The setup is extremely simple. Lie down on the floor, grab onto something stationary like a power rack, and get to work. Or if you want more instability, just have your arm by your side. What you have is one of the few dumbbell presses that begins completely from the bottom without any preloading. You are exploding from nothing, similar to the dead bench. This is amazing for all athletes, especially fighters, when we consider the unilateral nature of the movement. And best of all, it yields tremendous carryover to your standard bench press and floor press alike. And what's amazing is that we can use this movement for two purposes: going really heavy, aka performing the 1 rep max, or doing rep work, because at that point it becomes like a box squat. You're breaking up the eccentric concentric chain, but you're deloading at the bottom very slightly while improving your reverse strength. And that's one of the benefits that few people discuss. The fact that we're splitting things up makes us easier on recovery while improving our performance more than standard pause benching. And at the same time, the range of motion is consistent. You will never have an off rep because you can't overly stretch your pecs. Yet, because of the tightness, because of the wide base, you are on the floor after all. You're not taking away from your pec activation. If you get stronger at this movement alone, then you start doing regular flat dumbbell benching, guess what? You are going to be stronger 100% of the time. The carryover is there because of the tightness. And this is a lot more feasible than performing the exercise on a flat bench. So that extra wide base is a crucial factor, and the range of motion itself is perfect whether you're short or tall. You're not going to strain your shoulders and pecs.
Notice how the range of motion doesn't change because my arm is still flat on the ground.
Which allows you to do lots of volume or just going heavy in general without the injuries. And if you thought these benefits weren't enough, there's another, which is correcting muscular imbalances. You get to independently press in a safe and consistent way. And that's the key distinction between this and other movements. You're pretty much locked in. It's on the floor. You're not going to overly stretch one position. If there's a deficit of performance in one of the arms, you'll be able to spot that right away, and it will get corrected over time as long as you're doing it. The technique itself makes it easier to focus on one side, whereas the overhead press done one arm at a time can often result in a lot of body twisting. You can play with the angles such that you're not really correcting the imbalance. Not saying you can't do that here, but it's a lot less because that super wide base and the fact that we are pressing off that dead stop. It's when your arm is completely flat on the ground. It is what it is. You can't really cheat your way out of it. You're not bouncing off your body. There's no weirdness going on here. It's just a standard press, one arm at a time. You get the job done. How amazing is that? So I hope that you're now convinced to try out this movement. Whether you're a field athlete of any type, a fighter, or a bodybuilder, you can't ignore these benefits. Now let me go over some of the variations. The first is using the neutral grip. Highly recommended because it allows you to focus more on the triceps while lightening the load yet not taking away from the muscle groups themselves. If you want to become more of a tricep dominant bencher, or you want an exercise that mimics the close grip bench press, give this a shot. It's actually harder because you have that complete neutral grip, which is by default more difficult, and your arms are more in. So by getting stronger at this, it'll be much easier when you start flaring out a bit more. And obviously the carryover to your standard exercises is quite high. So I'm a big fan of neutral pressing. It also saves the shoulders, and that'll probably make a world of difference, more so than any other dumbbell press I can imagine. Another variation is putting chains on the dumbbell sleeves themselves. This way, as you press up, it becomes even heavier at the lockout, which is really insane for overloading the triceps. And if you want to talk about stability, this further adds on to that element. So it's another variable that enhances the difficulty of the movement. Unless you don't have a lot of heavy weights or you don't want to use the bigger plates, which might reduce the range of motion slightly, the chains will get the job done for you. Just adding 30 pounds on each sleeve makes the exercise quite tough by itself. Overload will never be an issue when you do this, and again, it makes the top heavier than the bottom. Next, I kind of briefly mentioned this, but you can use bigger plates if you want to do partial reps. So try 35-pound plates as opposed to 25. 45 can work as well, but now we're really talking about some quarter reps here. So if you want to use that, I don't know, to just get a bit more volume in the triceps as opposed to doing extensions or JM presses, maybe give that a shot. I don't know how effective it's going to be carryover wise, but it does have its benefits for certain respects, especially if you use it in a progressive range of motion style. Or if you have really long arms, maybe you want to try this out. I wouldn't do it myself, but if you want to go ahead, why not? And then finally, you can increase the range of motion by lying down on mats. Just grab one mat, lie down on it, and make sure that your arm is on the outside of it. This way you get an even deeper stretch. So if you feel that your hands are not as close to your chest as you want, just do this and everything's gonna be fine. Just don't overdo it, otherwise it starts to mimic more a flat bench, and that's not what we're trying to do here. I would say no more than 2 to 4 inches, and you should be fine with that. And with that said, those are all the variations, and that's my explanation for the dumbbell floor press. If you want, check out my other video, The Magic of Floor Press, which will reinforce a lot of the concepts I talked about today. And of course, that video is about the barbell version, which is also out of this world. So give this exercise a shot. Let me know how it goes for you. I can't wait to hear about your feedback, and I'll see you in the next video.